Today, Bitcoin is a global asset class held by trillion-dollar asset managers splashed across headlines. But its origin story, one that's surprisingly human and fragile, is rarely told in full, and it deserves to be. On October 31st, 2008, while the world was still dealing with the global financial crisis, an anonymous figure calling himself Satoshi Nakamoto emailed a 9-page PDF, the Bitcoin White Paper, to a tiny mailing list of cryptography veterans. The reaction? Mostly skepticism. To be fair, these were people who had seen digital money attempts fail before. For 2 months, the white paper mostly just sat there. No investors, journalists, or community. Just Satoshi quietly writing code alone, turning a theoretical idea into a real, runnable program. Then came January 2009, the moment people like to call the launch, though it hardly felt like one. On January 3rd, Satoshi pulled the trigger, mining the first block to kickstart the blockchain. In it, they quietly embedded a headline from the Times that morning: Chancellor on brink of second bailout for banks, a pointed message about why Bitcoin was created. For reasons unknown, it took another 6 days before Satoshi publicly released Bitcoin version 0.1. They announced it to the same mailing list with a download link on SourceForge, a popular site where programmers shared open source projects, along with instructions for running the software. This is where the story becomes almost mythic. Because somewhere out there, one person decided to take Satoshi seriously. Hal Finney, a brilliant cryptographer and early cypherpunk, unaware of how little time he had left. He's downloaded the strange new software and booted it up. When Hal's client connected, the entire Bitcoin network expanded from one computer to two. 2 people, 2 machines. That was the global peer-to-peer money system at its birth. From that tiny starting point, the world's first Bitcoin transaction took place. Satoshi sent Hal 10 BTC, not as a grand gesture or a marketing stunt, but as a test between 2 curious minds trying to see if this thing could even work. In those early days, the network was unbelievably fragile. Satoshi and Hal emailed back and forth, fixing bugs in real time. If either of them had given up, Bitcoin might have stayed a forgotten software release on SourceForge. Instead, Hal and Satoshi kept building. In those quiet exchanges, with no promises of wealth or fame, the foundation of a trillion-dollar asset emerged. Not from institutions, not from corporations, but just from 2 people who believed that trustless money should exist. Slowly, others began to join, helping to test the software, build the first website, and move the project beyond a mailing list. And yet, even by the end of 2009, Bitcoin was still just a hobby experiment. No formal exchanges, no real markets, just belief. Starting around this time, informal price discovery began, and small online communities began buzzing with experiments, debates, and tiny victories. Today, when we talk about Bitcoin, we talk about price charts, market cycles, ETFs, and halving. But it's worth remembering that before all that, Bitcoin was just an idea kept alive by 2 nodes blinking in the dark, held together by curiosity, idealism, and a stubborn refusal to let the experiment die. And somehow, it survived, which is kind of wild. What would go on to reshape finance began with one person who remains unknown and another who wouldn't live to see what it would become. Watch this video next to learn more about Hal Finney, the man who helped keep Bitcoin alive in its earliest days.